It turns out that applying AI, it's less about these fancy algorithms, all the buzzwords, and more about really mastering change management. He says most companies are just jumping headfirst into AI without fixing their broken processes.
Oh, yeah. Taking a step back,
Yeah.
looking at what's going on,
Yeah.
figuring out what's the simplest solution.
Yeah, he actually calls this the automation trap.
Uh,
We just try to automate broken processes
Hmm.
instead of just fixing them first.
yeah.
So he lays out 3 steps to get your house in order before you even think about AI.
Okay. Like it.
The first is to document reality.
Okay.
And he's not talking about the fantasy land of your company's official process map,
Right.
like what's actually happening on the ground.
It's you really need to understand the unwritten rules,
Yes.
the hidden dependencies.
Yes.
Give it like an archaeological dig,
Oh, I like that.
unearthing the true artifacts of your workflow.
And, companies that actually take the time to do this well,
Yeah.
they see 3 times better returns on their AI investments later on. All right, so what's step 2?
So step 2 is mapping the flow. This is where you get granular.
Okay.
Inputs, outputs, quality standards, time variations.
Mm.
Even how you handle those edge cases that seem to break the system every single time.
Yeah, the things that keep you up at night.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the companies that Cyrus studied that excelled at this saw significant improvement in their AI performance.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not just about documenting the steps, it's about understanding the dynamics,
Exactly.
the ebb and flow of work.
It's like creating a detailed blueprint of your operational machine.
Yes.
And this blueprint becomes the foundation for your AI strategy.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all connects. So
Yeah.
you're building that solid foundation.
Exactly.
What's step 3?
So step 3 is defining success.
Okay.
And this is where so many companies go wrong.
Yeah, I can see that.
Before you even think about algorithms,
Right.
you need crystal clear, measurable goals.
Yeah.
What are your baseline metrics?
Yeah.
What constitutes a win?
So it's not about these vague aspirations like make things better.
Exactly. It's about setting concrete targets that you can track and measure.
Yeah, you can measure. Now, all this meticulous mapping might seem like overkill,
Yeah.
especially for smaller projects.
Yeah.
But think of it this way.
Okay.
If you were building a house, wouldn't you want to make sure the foundation was rock solid before you started framing the wall?
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And sometimes this process of deep diving into your operations reveals solutions you hadn't even considered.
Oh, interesting.
Solutions that don't involve AI at all.
Okay.
Cyrus tells this great story about a startup that spent a fortune automating a process, only to realize they could have just eliminated it entirely.
Ouch.
Yeah, expensive lesson.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of this approach, right?
Right.
It forces you to ask the tough questions.
Yes.
And challenge your assumptions about how work gets done.
And often just the act of mapping things out can spark creative solutions.
Totally.
You might uncover redundant steps, unnecessary approvals, bottlenecks you didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
This is about making things better, not just slapping on a shiny AI Band-Aid.
Right. Now that we've laid the groundwork with process mapping, let's talk about actually choosing and implementing AI solutions.
Okay.
Resist the urge to jump straight into the most complex, bleeding-edge AI.
Oh, really?
It's like trying to win your first go-kart race in a Formula One car. You'll probably crash and burn.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So what's the AI equivalent of a go-kart? How do we choose the right starting point?
Cyrus suggests focusing on smaller, more contained projects that allow you to learn and iterate quickly.
So don't try to boil the ocean.
Exactly.
What are some of the hallmarks of a good go-kart AI project?
So Cyrus outlines 4 key characteristics.
Okay.
First, choose a process that happens frequently. You need enough data to effectively train the AI.
Gotcha.
Second, make sure your success metrics are crystal clear.
Okay.
Something you could explain to your CEO in an elevator pitch.
Simple, straightforward, measurable.
Exactly.
What else?
Third, manage the risk.
Okay.
Your first AI rodeo shouldn't be a bet the company scenario.
Right.
Choose a project where even if it stumbles, it won't bring the whole house down.
Start with something relatively low stakes.
Exactly.
Okay. What's the 4th characteristic?
Visible wins.
Okay.
Choose a project that will generate tangible, demonstrable results.
Okay.
Something that gets people excited about the possibilities of AI.
So it's not just about proving that the technology works.
Right.
It's about building confidence and buy-in
Exactly.
within your organization.
And notice what's missing from that list.
What's that?
ROI.
Oh, interesting.
Your first AI project isn't about squeezing out maximum financial return.
Okay.
It's about learning,
Okay.
building expertise, and creating a culture of AI adoption.
It's an investment
Exactly.
in your company's AI future.
Think of it like building a prototype.
Yeah.
You're not expecting it to be the final product,
Right.
but it's essential for testing and refining your approach.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cyrus gives this great example of a financial services company
Okay.
that wanted to revolutionize its loan approval process with AI.
Uh-huh.
Huge, ambitious project.
Right.
But instead of diving headfirst into the deep end, they started with something a lot simpler.
Like what?
Email classification.
Oh, wow. So training the AI to sort incoming emails and route them to the right department.
Exactly. It wasn't flashy or glamorous,
Right.
but it was the perfect go-kart project.
Okay.
It delivered quick wins,
Yeah.
improved efficiency,
Mm-hmm.
built confidence in the AI,
Yeah.
and most importantly, it generated clean, structured data
Okay.
that they could then leverage for those more complex projects down the road.
So they were essentially laying the foundation for future success.
Now, let's talk about another crucial aspect of successful AI implementation,
Okay.
the human-AI partnership.
Okay.
Cyrus is adamant that AI should not be seen as a replacement for human judgment.
Gotcha.
It's about augmenting human capabilities, not eliminating them.
So it's not about replacing people. It's about giving them superpowers.
I like that.
Yeah.
Think of it like a GPS system for your business.
Okay.
It can guide you, but it can't replace the driver's understanding of the road
Right.
and the ability to make real-time decisions.
It's like a co-pilot helping you navigate,
Exactly.
but not taking over the controls.
And Cyrus highlights 3 principles for effective human-AI collaboration.
Okay. What are those?
First, you need clear human oversight points.
Okay.
Someone needs to be in the loop monitoring the AI's performance
Yeah.
and making sure it's staying on course.
Essentially a human safety net.
Yeah. Second, you need explicit feedback mechanisms.
Okay.
Create ways for people to provide input on how the AI is doing to point out errors or suggest improvements.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street. AI learns from humans just as much as humans learn from the AI.
It's about creating a continuous learning loop
Exactly.
between humans and machines.
And the third principle is transparency.
Okay.
The AI's decision-making criteria should be clear and understandable,
Right.
not shrouded in mystery.
Yeah. People need to trust the AI to
Exactly.
use it effectively. And that trust comes from understanding how it works.
It's like having a clear instruction manual instead of a black box.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to recap, as we transition from planning to implementation, remember these key points.
Yeah, shoot.
First, choose your AI go-kart wisely.
Okay.
Look for projects with high frequency, clear metrics, manageable risks, and visible wins.
Don't overcomplicate things right out of the gate.
Second, design your implementation around human-AI partnership.
Yeah.
Emphasize oversight, feedback, and transparency.
Don't forget the human element. AI is a tool, not a replacement.
And third, plan for scale.
Okay.
Think about how your system will perform under pressure, how you'll handle errors, and what your fallback plan is.
Don't be the logistics company.
Exactly. Implementing AI can feel daunting, but by following these principles, you can make it a much smoother and ultimately more successful process.
I like that. All right, so we've mapped our processes, we've chosen our pilot project, and we're ready to hit the gas on this AI implementation.
Okay.
But before we do, Cyrus has some wise words
Oh, yeah.
about testing and iteration.
Okay.
And he says that too many companies treat AI pilots like traditional software releases, like they're just focusing on the technical performance,
Gotcha.
the speed, accuracy, uptime, all
Yeah.
those things.
That makes sense.
Not just the technical performance, but the human usability and the process integration.
Yeah, you got to think about the people.
Yeah, it's not enough for the AI to work in isolation. It needs to play nicely with the humans involved.
Absolutely. So how do we make sure we're testing the right things then?
Yeah, and then on the human side,
Yeah.
you need to closely track user adoption patterns, feedback trends, any signs that the AI is actually helping people do their jobs better.
Great. Are they embracing it or resisting it? Are they finding it useful or frustrating?
And of course, we can't forget about the bottom line is the AI actually moving the needle on the key business outcomes.
Exactly. Increasing efficiency, reducing costs, boosting customer satisfaction.
All those good things.
Yeah, making sure it's actually a valuable asset to the organization, not just a shiny new toy.
Now, Cyrus also talks about the importance of iteration.
Okay.
He says that your iteration cycle needs to be faster than your system's rate of drift.
I like that.
You need to be constantly tweaking and improving the system based on that real-world feedback.
And this is where those feedback loops we talked about earlier become so critical.
Yes.
You need a system where you can quickly gather feedback from users, identify areas for improvement, and then implement those changes rapidly.
This sounds like a lot of ongoing work.
Yeah.
It's not like you just set the AI loose and forget about it.
Absolutely not. AI implementation is an ongoing journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
And here's the hard truth.
Okay.
Your AI system will fail.
Uh-huh.
It's not a matter of if, but when.
Okay. That sounds a little ominous, but I get it.
Yeah.
AI systems are complex. They interact with the real world in unpredictable ways.
Right.
Things are bound to go wrong.
The key is to be prepared for those failures.
So how do we do that?
Cyrus calls this the circuit breaker principle.
Okay.
You need safeguards in place. Automated performance monitors that trigger alerts when things go off track, rollback capabilities so you can quickly revert to a previous stable version,
Okay.
and clear manual override protocols so humans can take control if the AI starts behaving erratically.
So it's like having an emergency brake
Exactly.
for your AI system.
And it's important to test these safety mechanisms regularly, just like you would with any other critical system.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The first is the law of process conservation.
Okay.
This states that for every standardized process, there's an equal and opposite tendency toward local variation.
So even if you've meticulously mapped out your process, there are always going to be those little variations, the workarounds, the exceptions that could throw a wrench in the works.
Exactly. And as you scale up your AI system, those variations get amplified.
Oh, wow.
What worked flawlessly in one department might break down in another because they have slightly different ways of doing things.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you need to build in flexibility even within a standardized framework.
Right. The second law is the law of organizational momentum.
Okay.
This states that an AI system in production tends to stay in production,
Yeah.
even when it's outdated or no longer effective.
It's like that old piece of software that everyone complains about
Exactly.
that no one wants to replace because it's too much hassle.
And this inertia happens with AI systems too.
Right.
People get used to them, build their workflows around them,
Right.
and there's resistance to change even when the system isn't performing optimally.
So how do we combat this organizational momentum?
Well, Cyrus emphasizes strong leadership
Okay.
and a clear strategy for managing AI systems throughout their life cycle.
So you need robust monitoring frameworks to track performance, clear feedback loops to identify problems early on, and a willingness to make changes when necessary.
It's about being proactive, not reactive.
Yeah, don't wait for the system to break down before you address the issues.
And the third law is the law of managerial relativity.
Okay.
This states that the effectiveness of an AI system is relative to the managerial capacity observing it.
So it's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about the people who are managing and overseeing it.
Exactly.
You need skilled captains steering the AI ship
The best AI system in the world won't be effective if you don't have the right people in place.
to guide it.
Yeah, to guide its implementation,
Yeah.
monitor its performance, and ensure it's aligned with the organization's goals.
So scaling AI successfully requires a potent blend of technical expertise
Yes.
and strong leadership. It's a team effort.
Now, when it comes to choosing where and how to scale, Cyrus recommends following lines of natural expansion.
Okay.
He calls these scaling vectors.
Scaling vectors, give me an example.
One example is similar use case vectors.
Okay.
This means looking for other areas in the organization where the AI could be applied to solve similar problems.
So if you've successfully used AI to optimize your marketing campaigns, maybe you could apply those same principles to sales or customer service.
Exactly. It's about leveraging your existing expertise and replicating success in new areas.
Love it. What's another one?
Another vector is organizational readiness vectors.
Okay.
This means scaling where your teams are well equipped to support AI implementation.
So they have strong technical skills, mature data pipelines, and a culture that embraces innovation.
You're not trying to force AI onto teams that aren't ready for it.
Yeah, you're finding those pockets of excellence where AI can thrive.
Exactly. But even after you've successfully scaled up your AI implementations,
Yeah.
there's one more crucial aspect to consider:
What's that?
maintenance.
Oh, right.
AI systems aren't a set it and forget it deal. They need ongoing care and attention. Cyrus recommends establishing a clear maintenance schedule for your AI systems
Right.
with different levels of attention depending on the frequency.
Right. AI needs to be treated like a valued member of the team,
Yes.
not a neglected appliance.